Pertandingan antara Islam Makhachev dan Arman Tsarukyan di UFC 311 memang sangat dinantikan oleh para penggemar UFC. Keduanya merupakan petarung kelas ringan yang sangat tangguh dan memiliki gaya bertarung yang unik. Banyak analis dan para petarung UFC yang memprediksi bahwa pertandingan ini akan berjalan sangat ketat dan menarik. Keduanya memiliki kemampuan yang seimbang, sehingga sulit untuk memprediksi siapa yang akan keluar sebagai pemenang. Namun, melihat rekor dan pengalaman Makhachev, banyak yang masih menjagokannya untuk menang. Dan inilah prediksi para petarung UFC tentang pertandingan tersebut.
That's a close fight. Yeah, like it was obviously Arman gave him a lot of trouble on in the first fight, but that was also on short notice, and you know, Islam as well had to prepare for like a big stylistic change in an opponent. Yeah, like once their team's very smart. The Kazakhstani boys are very smart. They're very intelligent at breaking down fighters. There's a lot of knowledge there, and like the handful of things that Arman does well, I'd say Islam might be able to shut those down. You know, Islam's very defensively sound on the feet, and I feel like once he has more time to study and break down Arman's counter wrestling, yeah, I think it'll be a more dominant. I think it'll be a more dominant win for Islam in the second fight.
Who do you think is going to win between Arman and Islam at UFC 311 in the rematch? Do you think Islam will keep his championship, or do you think Arman will be the new champion for you guys to fight?
No, I think Islam is going to keep it.
Why do you think that?
Because I think he is going to be the champ until Ilya came to keep it.
Think Arman can get it done?
I think he can. I do. I do think he can get it done. I think he's an athlete. Look how flexible he is. Look how he got out of that choke with Charles. That was impressive, man. He dug deep for that. And, you know, he's got a better coach. You know, he's got a great coach. So, yeah, you know, I believe in Arman. He's an athlete. He's got big power in his hands. You know, if he believes in those hands, I think he can knock out Makhachev.
So I think Islam's going to win. And the reason why I think that is because, you know, Islam slows down in his fights. What I'm saying is nothing new. Everybody knows that. But when they fought, Arman actually slowed down more than Islam. So I think that tells you that that's a big advantage, because in my opinion, if Arman wins, he would have to win early against Makhachev. I don't see him winning a 5-round fight against Makhachev personally, but I mean, I could be wrong. But I do think Arman has the ability to win. If I had to put a number on it, I would say it's like 60-40, and I'm leaning towards Makhachev. It's not like I'm saying he's a huge underdog. I just think the further the fight goes, the more likely Makhachev wins. And from what I've seen, Arman slows down more than Makhachev does, and I think that's another benefit for Makhachev, because he's very technical. He's got very good range. He knows how to play the long game, and then, you know, I think Arman is more explosive in the beginning, and he starts to slow down. His best chances are early. I think he can win in the first, second, or third round.
Trains against Arman?
I always saying for this fight, like I think like 60-40, more like the Arman. I think the Arman win, but also Islam, he's upgrade his style, his upgrade his striking, his wrestling, and grappling also like in another level. But he's upgrade a lot his striking. Before, when I watch like 2 fights before him, I think, oh, this guy on the striking not so good. But right now, when I watch him, he upgrade a lot. So right now, for me, it's 50-50, I think.
I mean, I think Arman's really good, right? I do think he's the second best lightweight in the division. When I'm looking at the first fight, right, that's another great fight to go back and rewatch. But Islam did look sick. Islam didn't look the same. But I do think that Islam has grown so much since that fight, regardless. And when you're looking at similar opponents, what Islam did to Oliveira, what Arman did to Oliveira, it's way different. I do think that Islam is just on another level than all these lightweights. I do think that he's just that much better everywhere, and he keeps getting better every fight. And when the only really rematch that we've seen Islam in, his second fight with Volk, he finished him. So I think this fight, he's trying to come out and do the same exact thing, where he wants to put a stamp on it. The first Volk fight was close, so he's like, all right, well, let me show you guys how much better I am than him. The first Arman fight was close, so now I think he's gonna put another stamp on it.
Islam. Nobody, now I don't see anybody who can stop him.
You know what it is? I think it's a very, very close fight. I know they fought before, and it was a fantastic bout. I'm going to go with Arman. I'm going to go with Arman, but I think it's going to be close. But yeah, we'll go with Arman for that fight.
Oh man. Honestly, I feel like Arman kind of has what it takes to beat Islam. I feel like Islam got a little tired in his last fight with Poirier, so I feel like if Arman's able to kind of, drag him down though, that he might be able to beat Islam. I think if anybody could, it would probably be him.
Okay, are you going to pick him though? Do you think he does it?
I think he does it, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think I really think that Arman has what it takes to get it done. I don't think that Islam has looked great in his last couple of fights. A lot of people thought Alexander Volkanovski beat him. The first one, obviously, he dominated the second one, but in the first fight, and then in the Dustin Poirier fight, I had it 2-2 going into the fifth, and Dustin's not the kind of guy to ever make excuses, but I was there with him. I went through camp with him. He didn't really have a full camp. He didn't really, he took that fight somewhat on short notice for somebody that was taking a title fight. So I think that the weight cut is too much for Islam Makhachev. I really do. And he's in a tough spot because the champion at the weight class above him is his friend and teammate. So I totally get what he's doing. But I think Arman is going to have a really good weight cut, and he's got a very, very, very good chance of beating him right now. And to be honest with you, other than myself, I think Arman is the only guy that can really, really get it done in our weight class right now. Now, that doesn't mean that in a few years somebody else is going to break through or somebody's going to have a big performance or it's going to click. But as of right now, I think the two guys that pose the biggest threat to Islam Makhachev are Arman Tsarukyan and myself. And the only reason I say myself is because I've got such good top pressure. If I do get a takedown like Islam's been taken down in the past, I think I'm going to win a round.
Okay. So are you picking Arman?
I am picking Arman, yeah.
See, I mean, Arman, he's looking good, but it's just hard to go against the Dagestanians right now, And they got it all. They got it all going on. You got to go with the champ. You always got to go with the champ until you don't. You know what I mean? It's the job of the challenger to convince everybody and go out there and take it from them.
I think Islam will win. I do. I'd really like to see Charles Oliveira, and I've said this before on here, rematch again. I think. I just think that Charles can do better than he did the first time. I don't think Arman necessarily can, but we'll see, But I would expect Islam to beat Arman worse the second time than he did the first time.
I think, I think that's gonna be a very interesting fight. Arman gave him a very tough fight when they fought first, and Arman was his first fight in the UFC, and it was short notice. I think with that full camp and he's more experienced now, I see him. 55-45 Arman,
Okay, going for the upset.
And also I think Arman has better conditioning also, so 5 rounds is gonna benefit him a lot.